Hi everyone, I'm Vice Mayor Angel Encinas, and welcome to another episode of Professionals on the Rise, a series that shines a spotlight on leaders and entrepreneurs that help make Chandler the community of innovation. We're celebrating Small Business Month, and today we're highlighting 1019 Coffee, a local business that started with a coffee trailer, built a strong following, and now welcoming customers into their cafe right here in Uptown Chandler. Today, we're going to take a closer look at that journey and see what's next for their chapter. I'll be joined by business partners of 1019, Leilani Laguna and Ty Codd. I've already had my shot of espresso. Let's get started. Leilani, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, let's jump right into this here. For the people who may not know your story yet, can you tell us a little bit about 1019 Coffee and how this all began?
Yeah, so Ty and I have been in coffee for 8 years now. We fell in love with the little interaction you get to have through a window, or just getting to hand somebody their drink in the 30 seconds to a minute that you get to have and spend with someone. And as we've traveled around the world, kind of grown up around coffee, we really just wanted to take that leap and do it on our own and kind of take all of the flavors that we've loved and gotten to experience and grown up with. And it also just has that meaning of interaction and intention, especially in the world with like AI and all of these things. I think people really crave just human connection, even when we went through really hard things like COVID, things like that. Getting to work in the industry in those eras, you really just learn how big of an impact you can make in that 30 seconds to a minute. So from that love of that and the love of like quality and consistency and just loving the people that are strangers but then become your family and part of your journey, that just made us want to take that leap and do it ourselves.
Yeah, definitely. It's about getting down to that core of customer service and having that connection that people really want. And sometimes it's missing from businesses these days.
Right.
So it's great that you're focusing on that.
Thank you.
I do have to ask, what is the meaning behind the name 1019?
Yeah, so it's my dad's favorite number and my mom's favorite number. So growing up, that's kind of all I knew. They have their own lore as to why those were their special numbers.
Yeah.
But it became my family's 1111. And so when I was thinking, what should I name my business? I was like, okay, Laguna Coffee, 1019 Coffee. Like, as soon as I wrote that down, I think when you start something, you need to have a point of view and intentionality behind it, or else it's just like you're just making a drink and serving it. Like, there's no why behind it. So when I wrote that name down, it kind of just encompassed everything that I had experienced in my young life, young adult life. Now I'm 26, and it's about, we all move so fast. We're very career oriented. We're very like, go, go, go. Like, and then sometimes we forget to take a second and pause. I never want anybody to have to learn that hard lesson of like, oh, I should be with my family, and they don't learn that until like they do lose a loved one, or you get sick, or someone you love gets sick. For me at 19, when I lost my grandma, I was starting my coffee journey. And it was that one, like, kind of, it just makes you stop, whether it's like your own health or somebody else's health. So if anybody out there can see like the word, like the numbers 1019, and just take a second to slow down, be proud of themselves, and like call their mom, call their dad, call their sister, like that's what it's about. And so you just see it everywhere, and it would come, that number would pop up for me in times where it was, not the best. I lived in Vegas for 4 years, and when you're kind of building your own journey by yourself, it can get really like lonely or like dark. But then you see something that reminds you of like your family, and it helps you like kind of push forward. So that's just like, we want to take care of like people and their mental health and things like that.
Absolutely, that is so special and so meaningful, especially, when you're putting your heart and your soul into your business, and just to have that reminder that's going to come across when you see that 1019, it hits home for you. And that's something that your customers can probably see, and they're going to see your commitment to what you're doing. It's more than just coffee. It's about building something for your family as well, and right here in our own community. So I love that. It's very special. So you recently celebrated your first anniversary of 1019.
Yes.
When did you realize that it was time to grow into something bigger?
So when we realized like, oh gosh, we're outgrowing our little mobile trailer, was Ty and I were running out of everything every 5 seconds. No matter how
That's
much,
a good thing.
yeah. No matter how much we would like batch cold foam, batch our syrups, like because we have a lot of house-made stuff, and we really take all that time. Ty's my chef at home, but he's also the chef of 1019, and so he's spending hours like boiling the syrups, like building things with intention, and we were going through it like in the first 2 hours, and we have 6 more hours to go, and it was just like, we really need to believe in ourselves because we're outgrowing our space, which is such a blessing. We did not take that for granted, but in moments it felt like we were like, we had a cap on how much we could serve or what we could serve because we didn't have like the space to hold more items.
Yeah, you're reaching capacity at that point. And tell us a little bit about how that is. You guys have a trailer, correct?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit more about the trailer and how that came about.
Yeah, so we found our mobile coffee trailer. It's a vintage, like kind of baby Airstream. We got it in Vegas from like a mobile, like food truck vintage place, but we got it on Facebook Marketplace. So if you do your due diligence, you can find something good on there. You gotta, be able to look through everything and find it. But we found it and met this amazing person named Mo that was able to kind of meet us where we were at financially. And we got it at a great deal, which is amazing. And it had like a big fridge, a big freezer, like it had a La Speciale espresso machine in there, kind of already bolted in. So it was like turnkey. It was, in life, like when things are meant to be, they'll just happen, and when you try to like force things, maybe it just wasn't your time. And so for us, we had been looking, same for even our cafe, and it came at the time when it was supposed to. So a lot of like mobile vendors out there will definitely understand what I'm saying, but there's so much that goes into it that meets the eye. It's like, it seems very like, oh, you're only working 7 to 12, but really it's like 5 a.m. to midnight, with all the behind the scenes and all that stuff.
It's all the prep work beforehand, and it sounds like everything's kind of fallen in place for you guys. I've seen you personally guys out at the Chandler Farmers Market in downtown Chandler. There's usually a line there, so I can see how you guys have reached capacity, even selling out, and forcing you guys basically to open up a brick and mortar spot, which is amazing. So watching all of this come together, it's clear how much goes into this. What has been the most rewarding part for you?
Ooh, I would say like, even when we first started the first like 3 months, to be honest, like we were getting 1 customer an hour. Ty and I were like, we're gonna have to get second jobs. Like, why did we do this? Like lots of crying in the trailer, lots of like, oh my gosh, because we had stable careers and we took that jump. And what kind of kept us together was, even though we only had like 5 customers in the day or 10 customers in the day, it's like we built regulars. Those people started coming back and started like hearing our story. We got to know about their lives, and we feel very, very, very lucky that we got to be out front of the taqueria factory on Arizona Ave and Ray. Being in the same spot every day allowed us to build that community, kind of already serve as a cafe. So we feel very lucky that they allowed us to take up their spot when they weren't open. And that was just the most rewarding thing, is when you work somewhere else, it's still special, like you're creating regulars and it still means something. But when you do it for yourself, you're like, especially like you said, I'm putting everything that I care about and love to the forefront. And when somebody comes back and they're like, this is the best drink I've ever had, or like, I feel like I feel seen here, I feel loved, I feel valued, like that just hits a million times more because it's something that you're building.
No, absolutely. That kind of goes into the next question that I do have for you. You're talking about community. You were really intentional about opening in a specific area. What drew you to this community, and what does that mean for you to be here now, more established?
Yeah, I would say in general, I really truly love Arizona. I feel grateful to have like gotten to grow up here. We, have all the restaurants, all the things that you could ever think of. And when Ty and I went to Vegas for 4 years, something that I also fell in love with was just their culture and diversity of like food and just like different people from everywhere coming together. So when I was thinking of like, okay, like I want to come back home, but where do I want to live? Like what embodies those things for me? I've lived in Tempe, I've lived in East Mesa, I've lived in Tucson, and when I kind of stumbled into Chandler and this community, I was just like, it's everything I could have ever asked for. It's all of that stuff, but in a more like homey, like local sense. Like even our downtown, it still feels home. Even, because most downtowns can be crazy, which is fun, but for us, it's still just like mom and pop feel, local business feel, like people and all their stories from around the world. Like that's what makes us amazing. That's what makes the world a better place.
100%. Chandler is still, we're a very big city population-wise,
Yeah.
how much we've grown, but we still have a very small town mentality and stuff. I grew up right here in the heart of downtown Chandler myself, so I understand that. I was introduced to you guys through my junior high school friends, so that's how close-knit this community can continue to be. So I'm very happy that you chose Chandler to continue this journey with us.
Thank you.
So I've been looking here at some of these drinks. We have the Brown Bear, the Espresso Split. These aren't your typical coffee flavors. What goes into creating a menu like this?
I would say it's just like, it's about like appreciating coffee from everywhere. You know, there's like Filipino style coffee, Korean, Vietnamese coffee, like, and you get to take, you know, all these things that you've gotten to drink and love and learn and kind of make it your own while still like, you know, paying respect to the original thing of like where it came from. And so for us, like, of course, like a Brown Bear, it's a house-made brown sugar syrup latte with the house-made salted caramel foam.
Sounds so good.
It's so good. It has like a little Teddy Graham because I think in life, whether, no matter what age you are, I think we all long for whimsy and joy. And it just kind of makes you smile. You're like, there's little Teddy Graham, like somebody's like, I haven't had that since I was 10.
It's the nostalgia that goes with it.
Yeah, and it's like, but then it's like also like the drink is like, it tastes amazing. It comes like from the heart, it has intention. And then for the Espresso Split, it is like a house-made Korean style banana milk. And so, yeah, Ty and I just got to be in the kitchen and taste test everything and just all the flavors that we really love. And maybe other places in different states or different countries, they kind of do things like seasonally, and so we watched that, and then we were just like, what are the things we feel like when we go to places that we wish that they had? And so then now we get to make it ourselves. Like, we always want to have a tiramisu, we always want to have, like, you know, a leche flan, like things like that.
Leilani, all these drinks sound amazing. This menu looks amazing. I'm very excited for 1019. I want to thank you so much for sharing your story about your business right here in Chandler.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored.
Of course. And is there any way we can do a little bit behind the scenes and learning on how we actually can make these coffees?
Yes, of course. We're gonna have my partner / chef give you a little rundown on some of our specialty drinks.
Awesome. Well, consider me your newest barista.
Let's go.
Let's do it. And now we're behind the counter with 1019 business partner Ty Codd. Ty, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you for having me.
Nice. Well, we're going to get started. Ty, what are you going to be making for us today?
We're going to make one of our star drinks, the I'm a Star Latte. The first thing we're going to do is to freshly grind our espresso. I have one ready to go for you right here. We'll throw it in our La Marzocco and get the shot pulling.
And tell us a little bit about your beans, Ty.
Yeah, we work with a local roaster, Little Jupiter Cafe, and we do a single origin Honduras with them.
Oh, very nice. And what about your additional ingredients that go into the coffees? Are they locally sourced? Do you guys get them from around the world?
Yeah, we like to source as many local products as we can. Our honey is locally sourced, the salt we use, a lot of the sugars, everything is local.
Oh, very nice. We like to hear that. And while this is brewing here, what's going to be our next step in going into I'm a Star?
Yeah, the next step is going to be our flavor. So we'll throw that into our mix cup here.
And what flavor is that?
It's going to be house-made brown sugar and a house-made vanilla.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing.
We'll throw our milk in there next. Right into our mix cup here. Give it a good mix. Next up, we're going to have some cocoa powder. And then our freshly brewed chopped right on top. Topped off with our house-made mascarpone cold foam.
Oh, wow, that sounds amazing. What inspired that?
We like to take every ingredient that we liked out of like the tiramisu and try and get every core ingredient that we thought made it what it was and incorporate that into our cold foam.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
It is really the star, definitely one of our most popular drinks.
Well, it looks beautiful as well. So here you guys have it. This is I'm the Star, where you can get one at 1019 Coffee right here in Uptown Chandler. Ty, Leilani, I want to thank you guys so much for sharing your story with us today and for choosing Chandler to open up your business.
Yeah, thank you.
For everyone, it's Small Business Month. I want to encourage you to continue shopping local, check out and explore the businesses in your community here in Chandler. I'm Vice Mayor Angel Encinas, and thank you for joining us for another episode on Professionals on the Rise. Cheers.